Have you ever wondered what makes some marriages effortlessly peaceful while others feel like a constant tug of war? It's not luck, it's not magic, and it's not even just love. It's communication, but not just any communication. It's the kind that shows awareness, care, and connection. The kind that women who are truly excellent wives practice every single day without even realizing it. Because these women know one simple truth: strong marriages aren't built on big gestures, but on small, thoughtful conversations that make a man feel seen, valued, and understood. A great wife doesn't bombard her husband with criticism or endless demands. She doesn't nag, control, or try to win every argument. What she does is far more subtle and far more powerful. She asks questions, the right questions, questions that invite him to open up, to think, to express, and to feel safe being himself. And when she asks, she listens, not to reply, but to truly understand. Imagine a man coming home after a long, exhausting day. He's quiet, lost in his thoughts. The wrong kind of partner would assume he's distant or disinterested. But an excellent wife notices his silence and gently asks, "Rough day?" That one sentence tells him she sees him, she cares, and that she's there, not to fix him, but to share his world. These small questions may seem ordinary, but they create extraordinary emotional intimacy. They remind a man that he's not alone in the struggle of life, that someone is on his side. And that's what every husband, no matter how strong or independent, secretly craves. An excellent wife constantly checks in with her husband's inner world, not in a controlling way, but in a caring way. She might ask, "What's been on your mind lately?" Or, "Is there anything you'd like me to do differently to make things easier for you?" Those questions don't just show concern, they communicate respect. They tell him, "I value your perspective and I want to grow with you." A marriage where these kinds of questions exist becomes a safe space. It becomes the one place where both can drop their guards and just be themselves. Because in that kind of marriage, the wife isn't competing with her husband, she's connecting with him. She's not trying to prove she's right, she's trying to make sure they're both happy. When a woman asks her husband, "What makes you feel most loved by me?" she's not fishing for compliments, she's seeking understanding. She knows what she thinks is love may not always be what he feels as love. Maybe she shows affection through words, but he feels it through actions. Maybe she believes giving him space means love, but he sees time together as his love language. When she asks, she discovers, and when she acts on that discovery, she makes him feel cherished in ways no one else ever has. A good wife asks her husband questions that invite emotional closeness. But an excellent wife also knows how to balance that with lightness. She keeps curiosity alive. She might ask playfully, "What's something you've always wanted to do but never told me?" Or, "If we could escape somewhere right now, where would you take me?" These small moments of curiosity keep romance alive. They remind both partners that even after years together, there's still more to learn, more to explore, more to love. Another thing that sets such women apart is emotional intelligence. Instead of assuming, they ask. Instead of reacting, they inquire. When tension arises, she doesn't say, "Why are you being like this?" She says, "Can you help me understand what's bothering you?" The difference between those two sentences is the difference between conflict and connection. She asks about his dreams. What's something you still want to achieve? She doesn't mock or minimize, she supports. She becomes his biggest believer, his motivator, and his emotional anchor. Every man who's truly thriving in life has one thing in common: a woman behind him who asks him what he needs and believes in him even when he doubts himself. Excellent wives also ask reflective questions, the kind that build emotional depth. Do you feel I respect you enough? What's one thing I can do to make our marriage stronger? It takes courage to ask such things, but that courage builds unshakable trust. Because when a man feels safe enough to answer honestly, that's when true growth begins. They ask about joy, too. What made you smile today? Simple, right? But it invites gratitude.
It shifts the energy from stress to appreciation. When couples make it a habit to talk about little joys, they start seeing their relationship not as a battlefield, but as a team effort. An excellent wife understands that her husband's mind is often filled with unspoken worries, work stress, financial pressure, silent fears. She doesn't pry, but she gently opens the door. "What's been weighing on you lately?" Sometimes he might not answer immediately, but the fact that she asked creates emotional safety. He knows he has someone who notices his unspoken pain. Great relationships aren't about never fighting. They're about always finding your way back to each other. And that happens when someone takes the first step, when she says, "Are we okay?" Or, "Can we talk about what happened earlier?" These questions prevent resentment from growing. They turn potential explosions into calm, honest conversations. A man feels most connected to the woman who genuinely wants to understand him, not fix him, not change him, not compete with him, but understand him. When she asks how he's doing mentally, emotionally, spiritually, she reminds him that he's more than a provider. He's a person who deserves empathy. She also asks about partnership. "Do you feel like we're working as a team?" That one question can change everything, because in the end, that's what marriage is: teamwork. Two people pulling together through the storms of life, hand in hand. And it's the wife who asks that question who makes sure they're always pulling in the same direction. And then there are those heart-melting moments when she looks at him and says, "Do you know how proud I am of you?" Or, "Do you realize how much I appreciate what you do for us?" Those words might sound simple, but they echo in his heart for days. Every man longs to feel appreciated, and when he does, he gives that love back tenfold. The truth is, being an excellent wife isn't about perfection. It's about presence. It's about staying curious, staying kind, and staying connected even when life gets messy. Because love doesn't die from big mistakes. It fades from small neglects. And these questions are what keep love alive, week after week, year after year. Every question she asks is like watering a plant. You don't see the change immediately, but over time, it grows roots so deep that no storm can uproot it. That's what these women do. They create emotional security, respect, and warmth that make their husbands not just stay, but thrive, love, and give back with full heart. So if you ever wonder what makes a woman truly an excellent wife, it's not how she looks, cooks, or dresses. It's how she communicates. It's the tone in her voice when she says, "Talk to me." It's the patience in her eyes when he struggles to find the words. It's the gentleness in her questions and the love in her silence. And here's the real secret. Men remember these questions, not the exact words, but the feeling they create. The feeling of being understood, respected, and loved without condition. That's what keeps a marriage strong. That's what keeps two souls bonded for life. So the next time you see a couple that just seems effortlessly connected, remember this: behind every strong man is not just a supportive woman, it's a woman who asks, listens, and loves through her questions, because she knows that real love doesn't need to be shouted. It only needs to be spoken gently, one meaningful question at a time.